Is the US dollar in danger of collapse? By Anwar J. Flores. Despite differences in culture, geography, historical periods, and political systems, the world's reserve currencies, Portugal, the Dutch East India Company, and Britain, all believed that their currencies were permanent and exceptional. In every instance, that assumption proved incorrect. They all collapsed and were replaced. The US dollar became the world's reserve currency in 1944 under the Bretton Woods Agreement. That was 81 years ago. Today, historical comparisons suggest the dollar is currently in stage 5 of a 7-stage cycle that led previous reserve currencies to decline. This is not speculation. It is an observation rooted in economic history, geopolitical strategy, and mathematical inevitability. This overview explains the recurring 7-stage currency reserve cycle observed in all reserve currencies based on more than 600 years of recorded financial history. Stage 1: Military and strategic dominance. Reserve currencies have always belonged to nations that control global trade routes. Portugal, the Dutch East India Company, and Britain all controlled global trade routes at the height of their monetary dominance. At the time in their history, their dollar was the world's reserve currency. Today, the United States Navy maintains unmatched global reach, projecting influence over strategic waterways such as the Hormuz, Malacca, Suez, and Panama Straits. This military presence makes the US dollar indispensable to international commerce. It is the world's reserve currency. Stage 2: Large and sustained trade surpluses. Following World War II, the US became the world's leading manufacturer and creditor nation, amassing the largest trade surplus ever recorded. At one time, US gold reserves exceeded those of the rest of the world combined. Historically, all previous world reserve currencies transitioned from production-based to consumption-based economies, and the US is now experiencing this. The US has become primarily a consumption economy. Stage 3: Official reserve recognition. The Bretton Woods Agreement formally established the dollar as the global reserve currency. While this status elevated American financial influence, it also triggered what is called the Triffin Dilemma. To maintain its status as a world reserve currency, a nation must make its currency available globally. Therefore, the US finds itself having to supply the world with dollars. To supply the world with dollars, the US must run persistent trade deficits, ultimately reducing the currency's long-term value, a phenomenon the US is currently experiencing, a status President Trump is fighting so hard to reverse. You see, a nation cannot indefinitely maintain both global reserve status and trade surpluses. The mathematics are unambiguous. Stage 4: Rising deficits and overextension. The US trade balance shifted from surplus to deficit in 1971. By the early 2000s, annual deficits reached 800 billion. The country increasingly financed consumption through debt, a pattern identical to that of Portugal, the Netherlands, and Britain when their currencies were the world's reserve currencies and before their respective declines. Stage 5, monetary expansion and currency debasement. This is the stage the US finds itself in. Major economic disruptions, including the 2008 financial crisis and the 2020 pandemic, led to unprecedented monetary expansion. Over $10 trillion was created in just over a decade. Inflation and cost of living pressures have since risen to levels not seen in 40 years. This is the phase where public and global confidence begin to erode. This is the stage the US now finds itself in, and President Trump is taking desperate measures in his America First and Make America Great Again campaign to reverse this growing perception. Stage 6, declining confidence and searching for alternatives. Global powers are reducing their reliance on the US dollar. China and Russia have scaled back dollar reserves in favor of gold. BRICS nations are developing currency alternatives. Saudi Arabia has begun accepting yuan for oil transactions. The dollar's share of global reserves has fallen from 72% in 2000 to approximately 58% by 2024, a significant decline. The inevitable seems to be closing in. Maybe it's not if, but when. Stage 7, the transition to a new reserve currency. History shows that reserve currencies do not disappear, they are replaced. The real was replaced by Spanish silver, the guilder by the British pound, the pound by the US dollar after World War II, within only 15 years. The question is not whether the dollar will be replaced, it is what comes next and how individuals and institutions prepare. We are now at the historical average lifespan of a reserve currency, and we are witnessing the characteristic indicators of late-stage decline, mounting deficits, extensive currency debasement, weakening global confidence, and the emergence of credible alternatives. Can the US halt this trend? Will digital gold, Bitcoin, be the US's life savior? Will XRP replace the slow, expensive SWIFT system? Will cryptocurrency become bankable and recognized? Only time will tell. The Trump administration has certainly given this a lot of attention and importance. In fact, this administration is the most crypto-friendly government in history. New legislations have been introduced. Maybe the US will reverse this historical trend and maintain its global dominance by securing its status as the world's reserve currency, reversing its trade deficits, and maintaining control over global trade routes. This is a tremendous feat. Many brilliant minds believe it's almost impossible. In closing, here are some insights. This is not a call for alarm. It is a call for awareness. Understanding where we are in the historical cycle allows individuals, businesses, and policymakers to make strategic, informed decisions. Reserve currencies do not collapse overnight, they transition. The key is to recognize the transition while there is still time to prepare.